This is Jackie J.
And I'm Frank Hemingway. This news report will contain information many listeners will find shocking.
We have verified survivor accounts from inside the exclusion zone.
There is terrible violence in there. In one image, a man appears with his arm unattached.
The president suggested that there was a receding chance of recovery. This new evidence would suggest this is an exaggeration.
We still didn't know if the people outside had any hope of recovering, but after what we'd heard the night before and taking our own experience into account, it didn't seem very likely. It wasn't as if we had the power to fix them, but at least now killing them off seemed like the merciful option. When we woke up, we decided to brave the outside and try to clean up the mess the military left for us. Luckily, we were only on day 5, so the zombie population wasn't too crazy yet, and the extra gunfire down the road seemed to have pulled the majority of them away, so it didn't take too long. One of the bodies outside had gear, meaning it was a survivor that either got mowed down by the gunship or caught up in the horde that was following it. I didn't know what happened, but I did know I wanted that sledgehammer. Once the streets were clear, I dropped off what I'd gathered from the corpses, and Alexander and I went to start looting some of the bigger houses. I still needed a wrench, so we started with the garage. No wrench. Once we killed the zombies in front of the house, we found a little horde wandering down the street, and I didn't see that many, but it would only take a couple to overwhelm us, so suddenly I didn't feel so confident snooping around this neighborhood. We still looted through the house, and I'm glad we did. I managed to find a hiking bag, and we stole enough curtains to cover the rest of the windows on our house. A few zombies noticed us as we walked out, but it was nothing Alexander couldn't handle. After we got back, I covered the rest of our windows and sat down to catch woodcraft and hear what the radio had to say.
This might be LBMW's last broadcast from the Knox Event journalist camp. We can confirm the infection is now spread through fluid exchange, mainly bites from carriers. The infected are shadows of human beings, savages. They don't think, they just want to bite. And they're dead. They move, but they're dead. We have been encouraged to keep this truth from our listeners. We disagree. We will endeavor to keep broadcasting on this wavelength. I've got some unhappy faces looking through the glass. Truth hurts. Keep safe, Kentucky.
Okay. Well, time to make a move. Seeing that group up the road made me realize that the zombies are grouping up faster than I expected, and this is a problem because once those groups get big enough, sneaking around undetected becomes a f***ing pipe dream. There were 2 places I wanted to get to before it got too out of hand. The fire station for some axes and hopefully a wrench, and the police station for weapons and ammo. And I have a hunch that now might be the perfect time to check the area. If I'm right, then the helicopter may have led a group into the neighborhood I wanted to loot, but it also may have pulled some of the zombies down here, up and out of the way. And there's plenty of trees to cover my escape if I get overwhelmed. But if I wait even another 2 days, then they'll migrate back and join whatever new zombies have spawned and make it even harder for me to get there. So, I gathered my gear and went scouting. It seemed like I was right. If there was zombies on this road, they all moved, and the few that were left were a walk in the park. I grabbed some gear off the firefighters and decided to quit while I was ahead. I was already starting to get tired, and I couldn't get into the building without drawing more zombies, so I turned around and left the rest for tomorrow. By the end of the day, there wasn't much to be done other than sit and wait for whatever dismal news the radio had for me next.
This is General John McCoy. I have requested that this broadcast play unarmed and embedded with my troops, and I have received permission. First and foremost, We are safe. America is safe. Today we can confirm that, yes, the nature of the Knox event is degenerative. It causes panic and confusion among sufferers, some of whom will then perform acts that are un-American. The initial period of contagion is over. There is absolutely no need for further panic. Engendered by irresponsible and unofficial reporting. Sufferers are not deceased. We are establishing the likelihood of discovering a cure. At this stage, the infection is passed only through direct fluid contact. This means bites. This means scratches. My thoughts are with those poor souls behind the front line. But this is contained. It has always been contained. We are safe. America is safe.
Yeah, man. I feel real safe hiding in my house with my firefighter's helmet on, covered in blood, listening to Huey door gunners let loose on the streets. Safe and fucking sound. I woke up bright and early on day 6 and headed straight for the police station. It was starting to feel like guns would be a necessity at some point, and maybe, just maybe, I'd find a suppressor for something in that armory. There were a couple of zombies to clear before I got to the fire station, but there was really no clear path to the police station, so I started picking off the groups piece by piece. Back up more. You got a Pit Boy on your arm? What is that?
War never changes.
Alright, I don't know what that is. Getting those two groups out of the way left the road pretty much open for me to sneak closer to the police station and get a peek at the parking lot, where I started clearing a couple more groups. Everything was going smoothly until it wasn't. It was more than I thought. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I've got more than I cared to have. I don't know where they all came from, but they're here now. This is bad. Oh, shit. At this point, there were way too many for me to handle. I had to lose some of them, so I retreated to try to break their line of sight and find somewhere to regain some energy. They nearly caught up to me, but I managed to break into the fire station and slip into the chief's office to rest. Mostly thanks to the fact that these zombies just straight up lack object permanence. Once Elitas could breathe again, I got back to work. Another group moved onto the road, but once they were gone, I'd have a wide open path to the police station. And with that, I had access. And I wasted no time putting my carpentry skills to use to finally break into the armory. I did find a lot of useful weapons, most notably a shotgun and 5 boxes of shells, which was like a miracle in itself, but there was no suppressors. So if I pulled the trigger even once, I'd most likely end up using all my ammo to clean up whatever came after the sound. So, while I now had guns, I had to use them sparingly. But the stuff would all be helpful in getting me out of town. I, of course, couldn't carry everything back in one trip, so I took the essentials and headed home. And when I got back, something was off. It wasn't until I got everything put away that I realized I hadn't seen Alexander. And after I looked around a little bit, I then realized he was gone. He must have left sometime during the day, and I guess honestly I couldn't really blame him. This little one-story house in the middle of Rosewood was gonna become a tomb if I didn't get the f*** out of town soon. And the news just made that reality so much clearer.
This is Jackie J. I've been separated from my colleague Frank Hemingway. There's gunfire on the other side of the camp. Frank, can you hear me? We're live. We're live on here.
Jackie, there's been an incursion. There's hundreds of them. They're everywhere. We came from every side.
Frank, what are they? What do they look like? Frank?